The next thing we need to clean our hearts from is sinav nikima, hatred and taking revenge. Person has to know kol ma'avir midotav amavirin al kol avonotav. Whoever is easygoing with others in regards to your personal offense, Hashem will also be easygoing with your offenses against him. So therefore, a person has to know the way you are giving to others, the way Hashem will be giving to you. That's why a person has to stay away from hatred and revenge. Because if you're a very big baldin, you're very, very judgmental, so then that's how other people are going to be treating you, and that's how Hashem's going to treat you. He's going to be very judgmental. But if people tell you, oh, but he did this to you, okay, no, I'll forgive him, yalla, move on. Life's too short to hold on to all these things. Hashem will also do the same for you. Angels will tell you, oh, but he did this in a sin. Hashem will say, yalla, no, it's okay. He did teshuvah, so I accept it. He doesn't have to suffer. So therefore, a person has to try to remember this and have in mind. But there's bearing a grudge, and then there's taking revenge. Bearing a grudge is different than taking revenge. Taking revenge, the guy asks you, can I borrow your hammer? And you tell him, no. And then the guy you come to him afterwards, can I borrow your hammer? And he says, no, like you didn't let me borrow yours, you're not borrowing mine. That's taking revenge. But a guy who holds a grudge is a little bit deeper. The guy says, can I borrow your hammer? And the guy says, no, you can't. You know what? No, you can't borrow my hammer. Then I come back to him and I say, can I borrow your hammer? And he says, listen, I'm going to let you borrow my hammer, but I'm not going to be like you who didn't let me borrow your hammer, but I'm still going to let you, but I'm not going to be like you. So therefore, he didn't take revenge, but he still took bearing a grudge. He still held it in for this, that he says, I'm not going to be like you. It shows that he's still hurt. Now, I understand that he's hurt, right? What's the big deal? He did something wrong to him. We have to realize that there's no point of holding it in. There's no point of holding this hatred. Like we said many times before, Hashem sent this person to you to hurt you. He's a shaliach. And the person has to know if you didn't deserve it, you wouldn't have went through this. And also, a person has to always remember that at the end of the day, how I treat him is how I'm going to be treated. Do I want people and Hashem to treat me like that also, to be so judgmental, or we want to be forgiven? So therefore, a person has to remember this. As we know, that the classic person who was the lover of all Jews was of Levi Yitzchak Berditchev. And there's a story where he had some enemies, and they did some horrible things to his family. They took away they kidnapped his kids and his wife, and they kicked him out of town. And the students of the Rav were so upset, and they went to another Rav, and they asked him, please pray for the downfall and the destruction of those horrible people who did this to the rabbi. And he said to him, I can't. The Rebbe said, I can't. He said, why? He said, Reb Levi Yitzchak Berditchev, he's already davening by the Heichal that Hashem should not do anything to these people who hurt his family. Look at this. How could he do that? So Reb Levi Yitzchak Berditchev, he was holding by a level where if this happened to my family, that means it's from Hashem. And Hashem, I love Jews so much that I don't want this person to go through to go through suffering now because he's fulfilling your will. You understand? He's fulfilling your will, Hashem. So don't have mercy on them, and don't punish them, and don't do anything bad to them. That's how Levi Yitzchak Berditchev was holding by. He had no hatred about anybody, and he realized everything's from Hashem. The hardest mitzvah in the entire Torah, Avta l'reacha kamocha. Love your friend like you love yourself. And the Gemara explains, "Mai desani chalach," right? Whatever you hate being done to you, all right, don't do it to your friend. Person has to get the habit of imagining if I would do this to him and he would do it to me, what would I feel? And that's how a person is supposed to go when choose his actions with other people. But the problem is, we don't think. We got to stop and think before we do what we do. Yerushalmi says a person should be so close with his neighbor. You should feel that you realize that you're one, and then just like a person, left hand hurt the right hand, would you go and stab the left hand? No, you wouldn't. You would never stab the left hand. You're all one body. We have to realize that the Jewish people, we're all one. We're all one neshama. We're all children of Hashem. So therefore, how is there room to hate another Jew? This left hand hurt the right hand. There's no room for it to hate. Therefore, anybody who has hatred in their heart, anybody who bears a grudge, wants to take revenge, he has to release it from his heart. First of all, Tversky writes, psychologically, it kills you. It shaves off years of your life. It makes you all this anxiety and depression from hatred that you build against somebody. It's slowly ruining your health. And a lot of times, he's an expert in addiction. He dealt with a lot of people in rehab. And he says this is the number one reason people relapse. People fall back into their usage again. Because their burden is so heavy to hold, they don't know what to do with it anymore. So therefore, what's the best thing to do? Is let it go and realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in control. Depression, what do they give you? They give you dopamine. Because you feel that you're entitled. When you're entitled, you feel depressed. Oh, why didn't they give me? And why didn't they give me? And why didn't they give me? You realize you have to be grateful and say, Baruch Hashem, I have this. Baruch Hashem, I have that. Baruch Hashem, I have that. Hashem doesn't owe me nothing. Hashem doesn't owe me nothing. He put me in this world and He gave me so much chesed. And therefore, you'll be happy. You'll be grateful. You'll have your own dopamine. And what do they give you when you have anxiety? They give you what? They give you serotonin. In order for you to feel calm down. What is anxiety? Anxiety is, I'm not in control. I have to be in control. Why it's like this? Why it's like that? What's going to be? What's going to be? What's going to be? I have anxiety. When do you get rid of your anxiety? When you realize you're not in control. Who's in control? Hashem's in control. I do my best. The rest is up to Hashem. And when you have this, you don't need to take any pills. You don't need to take any drugs. You're going to feel good about yourself. Problem is that we don't think bigger than we feel. We see people, but we forget that Hashem is from behind, orchestrating everything. And if you didn't deserve it, and Hashem, sometimes Hashem is doing something good for you, and you don't even realize it's good for you. Or Hashem is giving you kapara in this world, atonement in this world, and not the next for the sins that we have done. You would say, who's wrong and who's right? Hashem is wrong for doing this to me, or I'm wrong and Hashem is right for doing this to me. All the time you have to realize that we're the wrong and Hashem's the right. We say, Baruch Dayan HaEmet. Blessed is the righteous judge, the Emet judge. Hashem is the Emet judge. Everything He does is Emet. He doesn't do anything. Right? El Tzaddik is the God of righteousness, Ve'en Aved. He does no crookedness. Everything God does is not for no reason. It's not because Hashem did you dirty. Hashem never does us dirty. Hashem is always Tzaddik Ve'yasharhu. He's always righteous and straight. He does everything because it's supposed to be that way. It's the best way. You're going to learn your lesson that way. You're going to change your life that way. So therefore, a person has to internalize these things. And when you do, that's when you'll stop hating people and you'll love everybody. Life is too short to spend half of it hating people, only to realize after somebody dies, Chaval, I should have made up with him. Chaval, I should have not hated so much. Chaval, I should have, could have, would have, should have. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. So therefore, he says that a person has to overcome this. Okay, so we'll say one story over here. He says that the person has to be careful also from swearing. Over here, he says Olam HaShvuot. In the business, a lot of people, they like to swear. Oh, I swear on my this, on my that. I promise you. He says the person has to be very careful because our mouth is very, very powerful. And when you want to pray, right? And you lie all the time, or you say false swears, or you curse, so now your mouth is dirty, and now it has less power for it to serve Hashem through prayers. And to people want positivity, and everything that they should say, people should listen to them, and whatever they say should come true. They want to manifest positivity. It has to come from having a clean mouth. When you have a powerful mouth, that's when Hashem listens to you, and the angels will carry your words. But if a person has a dirty mouth and he has malachei chabalach, destructive angels next to his mouth, so then it only brings bad. It doesn't bring any good. So therefore, he says a person has to be careful not to fall into swearing. If you're saying the truth, you don't need to say this. You don't need to say a swear to have the people believe you. People should learn to believe you because you said so, not because you swore so. So if you have to swear, that shows that your word is nothing. You have to swear to it. But a person whose word is a word, and then you'll see people listen to him. There's certain people like to listen to. Their personalities are like this type. He comes into a room, everybody wants to hear what he has to say. Everybody wants to do what he says. Oh, his idea is always the best idea. Yeah, I like his idea. Why? Because they have this chen, they have this charm, that the power of having a chistem mouth brings you. Baruch Amen. Amen.